Alright, another movie that came out earlier this year that I saw was a musical, and it never came to our theaters, but it was pretty good. So The Last 5 Years is a musical, and I'm going to go into the plot. You're going to think that this is spoiler stuff, but it's not really, because the movie is a very non-linear film. The movie stars pretty much just two people throughout the entire movie, which is Anna Kendrick and a guy named Jeremy Jordan, which I don't recognize at all. And the whole movie takes place with the 5 years of these characters' marriage. Because as you find out at the very beginning of the movie, they break up, they're no longer married, and it's due to something that the guy did. Well, it's kind of both of their faults for two different reasons. Now let me tell you something, I'm not a very huge fan of musicals. Now I feel that I can like at least one movie of every genre, so I do try to watch every kind of movie I can possibly see. But when it comes to musicals, the films that I really like from that genre tend to be really dark, or really gory, or something very depressing. So of course my favorite two musicals of all time are Sweeney Todd and Les Mis. But as far as The Last 5 Years go, I thought it was a pretty entertaining musical. Alright, let me tell you this, the structure is pretty damn unique, and it was the thing that kept me interested in the film, but also could confuse the hell out of people. Now, it is like Memento in a way, and bear with me. When the movie starts off, it starts off with Anna Kendrick, and it's towards the end, or actually the very end, of the relationship. So it's the 5th year. But then the very next scene is the guy singing, and it is the beginning of their loving relationship. And when it comes to each scene, it goes back and forth, kind of like Memento. In Memento, you had a scene where it was all in black and white, and it was at the beginning of the movie. But then the colored scenes were at the end of the film, and eventually they just sort of collided as it progressed on, because the colors was going backward and the black and white was going forward. This is not necessarily like that, where it eventually converges. It's more along the lines of it's going backwards, both of them. Well, in a way, because it is still a little scattered, but just know that at the beginning of the film, Anna Kendrick's songs are the breakup and the things leading up to the breakup, while at the beginning the guy's songs are the happy moments of their relationship. And then in the middle of the movie we have the scene where they propose and they get married, and this is the only scene where they both sing in the same scene. Now pay attention, this could confuse you, and it confused me for a bit until I analyzed it. They crisscross. Basically, after that scene, from now on, all of Anna Kendrick's songs are the beginning of the relationship, while all the guy's songs are the end of the relationship. And this way you get both perspectives on both sides of the relationship. And I did honestly like that, because you get both sides of the argument, you get both sides of their lovey-dovey stage, both sides of their breakup stage, and you get to understand both of the characters a little bit better, and it doesn't villainize either of the characters. You get the arguments for both of them, you get why the relationship isn't working for both of them, and in the end it feels like more people rather than this is the clear-cut villain, this is what ended the relationship. It's kind of both of their faults. And so the structure of The Last 5 Years is unique, and especially unique for a musical, and that's what really hooked me in. But at the same time, you could end up hating the structure because it feels a little scattered and it might confuse you. Now I did like the lyrics of the songs, I did like how the actors performed them. I was a little off with the first two scenes, because the first two scenes of the movie, not that it was structurally or tonal shift or anything like that, it's just there was something odd about how they acted versus how they sang, and it almost felt like the singing was emotional, it was great, it was epic, but it didn't show on their faces that same emotion. And so the first two scenes were a little off to me. but the rest of the movie felt like it fit. Obviously, the most important thing to a musical, to most people that like musicals, is the music. And I have to say that is the less memorable thing about the film. I think the songs are good, I think the lyrics are good, but the way they're sung and the melodies of the songs feel too much like other musicals or other music from musicals. There's no distinction between this music versus a musical of a different film. Like, what I'm trying to say is the music feels stereotypical for a musical. There's something about how it's sung and the melody of the songs that doesn't feel unique enough to be memorable. It feels like the same kind of music we hear from all these other musicals. And so ultimately that's a little bit of a downer for me, but I do like the songs, I do like the lyrics of the songs. It's just the melody and how they're sung is a little less memorable. But anyway, if you're looking for a new musical and you haven't heard about this film, go check it out if you like musicals. Or if you want to see something a little bit different, go ahead and try it out. Maybe you'll be completely different from my opinion. But ultimately, The Last 5 Years gets 3 stars from me. Have you seen The Last 5 Years? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. If you haven't seen The Last 5 Years, what is your favorite musical of all time? Mine would probably be Sweeney Todd. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.